Hello and welcome to the Complete Podcast Network. I'm Dale Woods, recording from Los Angeles, California. Joining me is Anthony Wilson. Anthony, how are you tonight?
I'm doing all right, Dale. Let's hear the rundown.
On today's show, the Eagles open their title defense with a win over the Cowboys. The Clippers allegedly pay Kawhi Leonard under the table, and Amari Cooper decides to retire. Let's get to it.
Yes, so the reigning Super Bowl champion Eagles hung their banner and then hung on to defeat the Cowboys in the first game of the 2025 NFL season. Philadelphia's star defensive tackle Jalen Carter was ejected just seconds into the game after spitting on Dallas quarterback Dak Prescott prior to the first play from scrimmage. The third quarter featured a 1 hour and 5 minute weather today due to lightning, but in the end, the Eagles made just a couple more plays than their NFC East rivals. Dallas held Philly's all-world tailback Saquon Barkley to just 60 yards on 18 carries, and the first game since the blockbuster trade that landed Dallas nose tackle Kenny Clark from the Green Bay Packers in exchange for star edge rusher Micah Parsons. So, the Cowboys came out there tonight. Obviously, an emotional night for the Eagles. Anytime you're able to raise a Super Bowl banner, I think you see it more in basketball than in football, where you'll see teams on the banner night. A lot of times they'll come out flat in the NBA, but in the NFL, I don't think that happens as much. And tonight, the Eagles, they came out. And they did what they had to do, man. They're a championship team. They won the Super Bowl last year. Obviously, they almost won another Super Bowl in 2022. And they have a lot of experience, and they did what they do. It's funny because the first thing I saw this morning when I woke up was Dan Orlovsky was on Get Up, and he said that Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts were the new Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. And I thought that was just ridiculous. But then after watching this game tonight and kind of thinking about it a little bit more, it's premature, and nobody really looks at Nick Sirianni in that in that manner, even after the success that he's had there in Philadelphia. But that's the type of stuff that comes with winning. The more you win, the more people respect you in that way and laud you with that type of praise. Tonight, Dak was 21 of 34, 188 yards. I'm talking about Dak. That's what Dak did, but Dak lost. Jalen was 19 of 23 for 152 yards, no touchdowns, also no interceptions. He also rushed 14 times for 62 yards and a couple of touchdowns. I think hold your horses on the Belichick and obviously I was just on this channel last week or a couple of weeks ago, whatever it was, saying I said that Jalen Hurts is still overrated, and he is overrated. Like I said, if you look at this line tonight, 19 to 23, 152 yards. He's never going to be spectacular or blow you away, but I do admit that he is good at what he does. The Eagles, as I mentioned, Jalen Carter was ejected before, so following the opening kickoff, where the fullback for the Eagles suffered an injury, and then before the very first play from scrimmage, as I said, you saw Jalen Carter ejected for spitting on Dak Prescott, and yet the Eagles were still able to pull it out. You had Adoree Jackson, who I met a couple times and took a picture with back in his USC days, and I've always rooted for him. His first game as an Eagle, and they were, targeting him early on, but I think he settled down. And CeeDee Lamb, who had 7 catches for 110 yards. He's a tough cover for anybody. There wasn't much of a pass rush in this game for either team. There was only one sack recorded, and that was by the Cowboys, actually. That sack was recorded by Marshawn Nealon. And as I mentioned, they held Saquon in check, 18 carries for 60 yards. And yet it still was not enough. The Eagles are the Eagles, bro. They're hard to beat. The Cowboys held A.J. Brown down, and he only had 1 catch for 8 yards. Devontae Smith had 3 catches for 6 yards. Dallas Goedert led the Eagles in receiving, 7 catches for 44 yards. But the Eagles at the end of the day, they're just so good. And the Cowboys, I mentioned CD, he had a good game. Running wise, Javonte Williams, who came over from I think it was the Broncos, yeah. He had 54 yards rushing on 15 carries. And then Miles Sanders had 4 carries for 53 yards. He came over from Carolina, of course. He was with the Eagles when they made the Super Bowl in 2022. So we'll see what they do there. Seems like they don't really care about the running back position anymore. But, it's just like a typical Cowboys game, I guess. Like, they competed, and in the end, they just couldn't get it done. Now, I said also recently, in the wake of the Micah Parsons trade, that I think the Cowboys might have actually won the trade because Micah Parsons, as great as he is, you have to go back to 2015 to find a time when a superstar pass rusher on the outside, on the edge, either at end or linebacker, since they were part of a Super Bowl winning team, and that was Von Miller in 2015 with the Broncos. Von Miller also came over mid-season and won with the Rams in 2021, but I don't think that was quite. That wasn't really the same Von Miller. If it was, he probably wouldn't have. Probably was why he was on the trading block to begin with. I don't remember the circumstance. He might have won it. I don't remember. Right, but I don't think. That wasn't the same Von Miller. He hasn't been. That was not peak prime Von Miller. Now, of course, you still need a pass rush, but you also have to be able to stop the run. And the Cowboys were 29th against the run. I think historically the Cowboys have been bad against the run. And they were better tonight against the best running back, or top 2 running back in the league, and also the best offensive line in the league. So they played better, but at the end of the day, they just couldn't pull it out. And I want to say this before, and I meant to say it before the season started, even though I mentioned that I posted about how. On ESPN, whenever they refer to Marty Schottenheimer in a headline, when you go on the ESPN app and you see the little news stories there, they never refer to Martin Schottenheimer by name in the headline. They always just put Cowboys coach, which is kind of telling you something. He's just basically he wasn't even really on the radar. I think he was offensive coordinator last year for the Cowboys, right? But sometimes, the guys who nobody expects ends up being the guys who's really good at that job, being a head coach. So the Cowboys, they didn't look bad tonight, man. They just lost to the best team in football. So, we'll see what happens. See if they can recover some of their pass rush with Micah gone. Obviously, they were better against the run tonight, as I said. And we just have to see what goes from there, and we'll see, perhaps mid-season, Jerry mentioned in that press conference after the Micah trade that they would, possibly use those draft picks to get better now. They got 2 first-round picks from the Packers. And so, who knows? Maybe midway through the season, they get there Von Miller. And he's able to take them over the top. You just never know. But, you have to be well-rounded. You can't be 29th in anything and expect to win a Super Bowl, really. I mean, unless you have Tom Brady, So, yeah.
Switching gears now to the NBA. The biggest sports story of Wednesday involved the Los Angeles Clippers.
Pablo Torre, formerly of ESPN and currently of Meadowlark Media, revealed on his podcast, Pablo Torre Finds Out, that Kawhi Leonard allegedly received $28 million over 4 years through a sham endorsement deal with Aspiration Inc., a now bankrupt sustainability company focused on tree planting. The deal was with KL2 Aspire LLC, a company managed by Leonard, referencing his jersey number 2, and was reportedly designed to circumvent NBA salary cap rules by providing off-the-books compensation. Aspiration received a $50 million investment from Ballmer in September 2019, shortly before Leonard signed with the Clippers. The company also had a prior jersey patch partnership with the Clippers, which ended in 2022-23 due to Aspiration's default. A clause in Leonard's agreement allowed termination if he left the Clippers, tying the payments directly to his employment with the team. Despite the deal being labeled a marketing sponsorship, requiring minimal activities like 5 social media interactions, Leonard performed 0 promotional work for Aspiration. Torre found no public mentions or endorsements from Leonard, unlike other celebrities like Drake, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Robert Downey Jr., who actively promoted the company. Payments were routed to Leonard's advisor, Dennis Robertson, as his uncle, who was previously investigated by the NBA in 2019 for improper benefits, though he was cleared. Torre's 7-month probe included bankruptcy filings from March 2025, showing Aspiration owed KL2 $7 million, interviews with former Aspiration employees, one anonymously stating that the deal was explicitly to circumvent the salary cap, and legal documents confirming the $7 million annual payments. Aspiration's co-founder, Joe Sandberg, pleaded guilty in March 25 to wire fraud for defrauding investors of over $145 million amid probes with the DOJ, FBI, CFTC, and SEC. The Clippers and Ballmer issued a statement denying any salary cap circumvention or misconduct, calling the claims provably false and noting they ended ties with Aspiration years ago. Leonard's team did not comment by Torre's deadline. The NBA has not yet responded, but previously investigated Leonard's 2019 free agency. They found no wrongdoing. It may reopen the probe as salary cap evasion is considered a cardinal sin by Commissioner Adam Silver. If proven, the Clippers could face severe NBA penalties, including fines up to $4.5 million for a first offense, forfeited draft picks, as in the 2020 Timberwolves case, where 5 first-rounders were stripped, and voided contracts. This echoes past Clippers controversies like the 2014 Donald Sterling scandal and could impact Leonard's legacy and the team's 2025-26 season outlook, especially with recent additions like Chris Paul and Bradley Beal.
Just wanted to add, in the Timberwolves case, the league also banned Kevin McHale and Glenn Taylor for a year.
Right.
The funniest thing I saw pertaining to this story was a headline for Jim Rome's radio show. On Spotify and the like, they refer to this as Kawhi's second no-show job.
Right, and that's pretty funny, because basically, Kawhi just is somebody who just has no, he just has no scruples, he just doesn't, care pretty much, He doesn't care about playing. He only plays when he absolutely wants to, right? And then if he's been taking money under the table also, then that's also a bad look. Now, of course, people who, reacted to this story, of course, they drew parallels to this, and the situation with Jalen Brunson, which, of course, Brunson took $113 million less guaranteed in 2024 than he could have gotten this summer. He took a 4-year, $156.5 million extension instead of, I guess that would be like $270 million that he could have gotten this summer. That darn. Yeah, who knows, bro? I mean, this type of stuff. I saw a clip where Gilbert Arenas was talking about it on his on Gilbert's Arena, before this report came out, and he was talking about how Steve Ballmer has so much money. Why would he try to play by the same rules as these other owners? That's what Gilbert was saying. So, yeah, definitely a fascinating story. And we'll see what comes of it, Also, Ballmer went on SportsCenter tonight, and he talked to Ramona Shelburne and defended himself against Pablo's report. Here's part of what he had to say to Ramona.
In Pablo's podcast, they reported it was $28 million.
Pablo's podcast, I don't know anything about the court documents on this. I haven't seen them, and I don't know. I'm not trying to be, I don't know. I really don't know. But the speculation is what it is. And why did they do that?
It's a lot of money. I mean, $28 million, $7 million a year is a lot of money for a guy that you didn't actually require to do anything.
I don't know why they did what they did, and I don't know how different it is. I really don't. And frankly, any speculation would be crazy. These were guys who committed fraud. How would I be able? Look, they conned me.
You're one of the richest men in America.
They conned me. I made an investment in these guys thinking it was on the up and up, and they conned me. At this stage, I have no ability to predict why they might have done anything they did.
Let me go ahead and read. Let me go ahead and read the full statement that Ballmer put out, and this is before he went and talked to Ramona. The statement said, "Neither the Clippers nor Steve Ballmer circumvented the salary cap." Well, this is a statement, I guess, from I don't know if it's officially from Ballmer or the Clippers, whatever. It's one and the same. Neither the Clippers nor Steve Ballmer circumvented the salary cap. The notion that I guess it's from the Clippers because I don't know. Look, listen. Neither the Clippers nor Steve Ballmer circumvented the salary cap. The notion that Steve invested in Aspiration in order to funnel money to Kawhi Leonard is absurd. Steve invested because Aspiration's co-founders presented themselves as committed to doing right by their customers while protecting the environment. After a long campaign of market manipulation, which defrauded not only Steve but numerous other investors in sports teams, Aspiration filed for bankruptcy. Its co-founder, Joseph Sandberg, recently pleaded guilty to a $243 million fraud. Neither Steve nor the Clippers had knowledge of any improper activity by Aspiration or its co-founder until after the government initiated its investigation. Aspiration was a team sponsor for the 2021-22 and 2022-23 seasons before defaulting on its contract. There is nothing unusual or untoward about team sponsors doing endorsement deals with players on the same team. Neither Steve nor the Clippers organization had any oversight of Kawhi's independent endorsement agreement with Aspiration. To say otherwise is flat out wrong. The Clippers take NBA compliance extremely seriously, fully respect the league's rules, and welcome its investigation related to Aspiration. The Clippers will also continue to cooperate with law enforcement in its investigation into Aspiration's blatantly fraudulent activity. I don't know why that made me laugh, but I don't know, bro. It's like these guys make so much money. You gotta pay somebody under the table too. It's like, geez, Louise, man. And it's kind of ridiculous if you really stop and think about it. But yeah, man. I mean, I really don't know what to. I don't know what to tell you, bro. I mean, are they gonna suspend Ty Lue and Steve Ballmer for a year over this? Because that's what they did to the Timberwolves. I mean, but also Adam Silver is not David Stern. Now I think David Stern, he would cover some stuff up also. But I think David Stern was the type of person that's like, David Stern, the type of person who's like, you don't get over on me, I get over on you, right? We'll see if Adam Silver is really, it's like that. Adam Silver is it's proven to be a lot softer than David Stern was. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes. I'm not a Lakers fan who hates the Clippers, but they're competition. So if they get, I guess was Joe Smith. I'm not sure. I remember if Joe Smith was. I guess he was allowed to still play. I'm not sure. But that'd be even better if they should ban Kawhi, Ty Lue, and Ballmer. I mean, Ballmer won't make a difference. But they should ban Kawhi and Ty Lue, just to make it easier on the Lakers. That's just one less thing the Lakers have to worry about. And there's too many good teams now in the NBA. So anytime you can, they'll make it easy for the Lakers or Golden State or somebody like that. If they don't have to face a tough Clippers team. Denver, same thing. Let one of the GOATs get another title. But yeah. All right, so switching gears again. Amari Cooper, he upped and retired on the Raiders, a team that drafted him in 2015 out of Alabama, where he was an All-American and won a national championship in 2012. I don't know, I guess Amari just decided, you know what, I've had enough, Gave it 10 years, rushed for 10,003 yards and 64 touchdowns. Out of the great, receivers that Nick Saban coached at Alabama, I would say that Amari Cooper to this point has had the second best career. Of course, Julio Jones is he's first, and then Amari Cooper would be he would be second. Not great, but a really good player, who had a really good career, and now he's off to other things, So happy trails to Amari Cooper. As I said, he was part of the great Alabama Renaissance under Nick Saban, and as I said, happy trails. Okay, so I'm gonna close with this because this is some. I mean, if you thought Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis was, if that any boxing aficionados out there look at that and go, why? Now I said that, I don't blame Tank for doing it, but it's just a circus fight, But Tank has to get his money somehow, he can't take a real. I mean, all the money, like what Bud and Canelo are doing. I mean, that's out of the question for Tank. He can't move up. That would be worse than if he fought Jake Paul. If he were to fight, I mean, you have to draw the line somewhere. I mean, that's something that can never happen in a real fight. My point is that for Tank, there's nobody around his, in his weight class or surrounding weight class that he can fight and make big money again, like he made against Ryan Garcia, and do big numbers against. So I don't blame him for taking this circus fight, right? But the news today is that Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather have agreed to compete in an exhibition boxing match next spring. I'm reading here from Andreas Hell's write-up for ESPN. It says the event will be put on by CSI Sports/Fight Sports, but details regarding a location, date, and where the fight will be broadcast have yet to be determined. I just think this is a disgrace. You got a Mayweather who's 48 years old and a Mike Tyson who's 59 years old. And Mike looked, bad against Jake Paul when he fought him. Floyd, a natural 147, 154 pounder. Almost 50 years old, and now he's going to face Mike Tyson, who's almost 60 years old, in an exhibition. And Floyd has, maintained himself, well. So he's, Mike's just going to be something for him to go out there, and Mike's not going to be able to touch Floyd, and just go out there and make however much money they make from it, And it's really a disgrace. It's really sad. It's like, imagine Muhammad Ali. I mean, take away the Parkinson's, sadly. But imagine Muhammad Ali is 60 years old and he's fighting, Ray Leonard in some type of, in an exhibition match years after they're, it's just silly, right? It's just, I mean, how much money do you need? And how much money can you spend for it? It's just disappointing, but I don't know, bro. That's one thing I probably watch it just because of the spectacle of it, and just to see it. I mean, but if Mike couldn't even touch Jake Paul, how is he going to touch Floyd? Floyd, 20 years older than Jake Paul. Once again, bro, it's ridiculous that this type of stuff is even happening. It's just pretty sad, bro. It sucks, man. But yeah, it is what it is. Nothing anybody can do about it, All right, so before I get out of here, just a reminder to hit that subscribe button next to the Complete Podcast Network, and to follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at TC Pod Network. You can also send feedback and mailbag questions to Complete Lakers Podcast at gmail.com. I am out.